Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. I am your community manager Cordovan, and I am getting ready for the holidays. I assume you are too. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the latest news. We'll be on Galanda. I don't know what we're doing. I'm going to just kind of have to wing it, and hope everyone's having a good holiday and a good time. Thank you so much for being here. Let me just mention one thing quick schedule-wise. I will not be here next week. I believe I will be here the week after, so that would be the January 2nd. So this might be the final weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream of 2019, or 2018. What year is it? 2018. It only felt like 2 years. No, how's it going, everyone? Yes. All right, so on that note, let's log into Galanda, and I can talk a little bit about the latest news, of which there, frankly, isn't a huge amount. You know, on the SSG side, similar to the rest of the video game industry, things tend to slow down a lot between Christmas and New Year's. It's actually fairly common that pretty much the entire industry shuts down between Christmas and New Year's. I don't know why that is. I think it actually goes historically back to kind of the crunch that was inherent in the video game industry. And so they'd work, you know, really long hours throughout the year and all that sort of thing. But then chill out between Christmas and New Year's. Either way, I will be here, of sorts. Hello. Well, we have enough folks here. We could probably do another raid today. I don't think I'm flagged for much, though, on G-Land here. Man, I'm not even flagged for... I am flagged for Shroud. Hey, I'm flagged for Shroud. Was everyone else flagged for Shroud? If so, we can run Shroud. Alright, well, we got a couple people who are not flagged for Shroud, so that's fine. We'll run something else. We could do just like, you know, Chronoscope, Tempest Spine. We could do, you know, theoretically we could do Hawks or VOD. So, things are going to slow down a lot between Christmas and New Year's. I will be, similar to the Eye of Sauron, keeping an eye on the forums and such, of course. Frankly, my job today is to largely fill out the social media calendar between now and New Year's, which, that's a lot of tweeting. But nonetheless, I will be doing a lot of that sort of thing. Unfortunately, I am not flagged for Vault of Night. But we had our weekly downtime today, and pending any kind of issues that crop up over the holiday, this is probably the last downtime of 2019 as well. One thing I would note, this isn't really relative to G-Land here, but is relative to some of the other servers. Some players had noticed that their buyback was getting way too big and it wasn't clearing out. We corrected that during the downtime here. So, I think it was on Caneth and Sarlona that it was not cleaning itself up properly. Either way, so we've fixed that. That was why the downtime was maybe about 15 minutes longer than normal, because we were working on that. I don't really have an airship to... I'm in a guild, but my airship doesn't have much. Yeah, it wasn't... I know it wasn't working on Sarlona, but I think it was also not working on Caneth. It should now be working. What basically happens is there's like a process that runs... I think it's every day, something like that, to basically clear out the old buyback. And if it gets... if something happens with it where it just isn't working right, it'll sometimes... fail and then continue to fail because it's like, I don't know what to do. And that's what was happening, so. Let's see, do I like... Yeah, I'll use the Cloak O Wave. So, other than that, let's see, what else could I mention? The team is, you know, hard at work on Sharn. Update 41 is now behind us. So that's really the next big push is Sharn here. We are working on a producer's letter, but we frankly ran out of time before the holidays to get that done. So, unfortunately, for both Locho and DDO, the producer's letter is going to have to get kicked into early 2019. Congrats, Titan, on getting some nice raid items. Hey, Forehand, the best to you and your family as well. It's true. Now, so, you know, I've mentioned that basically this place becomes a ghost town between Christmas and New Year's. There is one exception to that. Our customer service has regular hours. Poor folks. But yes, the customer service will still be doing their thing. Although they too, I believe, are off on Christmas Day and have shorter hours on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, something like that. From Facebook, do we ever plan to do anything with the old Shard Scroll Seal system? Would love to get some trading going on with that stuff. That comes up periodically, but is not something that we have dedicated the resources to. I think ideally it would be something we do. I just don't know when or if we're ever going to actually do it. Let me see what else. The ships in the harbor have moved / sunk. Will there be any more changes to the ice games? That's a great question. I don't think it's going to impact the ice games at all. I was actually kind of surprised to see that myself, but I assume that has to do with Sharn. You know, going to have to get there somehow. And that's probably kind of pre-work before we put new Sharn-related things in there. The weekend bonus is also part of why I was kind of mentioning this whole holiday thing. We are doing an extended bonus. So starting tomorrow, there will be a 10% heroic and epic XP.
These adventurers are friends of my father's.
Professor Tremus gleefully turns to the nightmarish
Boost, and that'll kick off tomorrow and go straight through January 2nd. And shut off probably the morning of January 3rd. So nice big fat XP holiday. That's pretty awesome.
At his favorite spot by the pawn exchange, the day the devil army attacked.
Sort of the one everybody can love.
People were panicking, trying to
I will note that despite, you know, the somewhat shifted schedule, we are still doing our regular sales cadence. So we will have sales that kick off on Thursday through next Thursday, and then new sales come in that Thursday through the Thursday following. Additionally, we do have 2 more weeks of December deals. So we've got some December deals that'll start tomorrow and go through the following Thursday, and then we got new ones coming the following Thursday and going through. I'm not allowed to say what they are. We also have a couple special things that'll be happening that I can't announce today, but we will be announcing tomorrow. That hopefully you'll find interesting. As a matter of fact, I think you will. Particularly if your name is Otto.
Hear the sounds of pillage and slaughter. The last time Stormreach was attacked was the Devil invasion years ago.
Okay. The web spell is not working as it was in the past since the last update. Other casters say it is not working. They say the window for the spell seems to be smaller. Is this a correction to the web spell, or is it broken? I have not... I mean, we definitely didn't do anything on purpose related to sort of the area of effect by which someone gets impacted by web. That's a new one to me. Secular on Volley Arbalest of the Damned and Nightmare of the Fallen Moon. Their Nightmare effect has not been fixed to be able to proc and quests appropriate for the level of the weapon. One, I don't think that's true. Well, I mean, what you're saying is you want Nightmare's ability to scale based on the level of the quest so that as the CR of the mobs get higher, it is more effective. Or worthwhile, I guess you could say, for those levels. That would be I mean, it's not a bad idea, but no, I've not heard of Nightmare becoming a scaling proc. Why all the changes to Evening Star Village? Huh. I have not heard of us changing Evening Star Village. What's different? I know that there was some frill work to reduce the amount of frills in there. And the frills are like those little bushes and things like that. And the goal of that is to improve game performance in that area. But I haven't heard of anything else. So if there's something else happening at Evening Star, maybe I'm not aware of it. Is Reaper included in the XP boost? No.
Must acquire the key to the Gad's deposit box. I don't care what you have to bring the key back to me.
It was nice to see the 2-year pass sell out. GG. Thanks. You know, it was something that we were kind of experimenting with, and clearly 1,000 of you liked it. So yeah. Nice. Oh, they mowed the lawn. Yeah, so that is related to the frill work there. And the reason is some of the... is because it is such a large public space, reducing the amount of frills that have to render can improve game performance for a bunch of folks in that area. So I believe that's really what's up with Evening Star. The walls are huge now? Bushes everywhere? Huh. A new wilderness area called DNT is showing up in your Adventures compendium. Is this designed to make us eager to play the new Charm expansion? DNT, huh? Oh, wilderness. Nice. I assume that has to deal with Sharn. Clearly the levels aren't right or any of that. It must just be a placeholder of some kind. But I would assume that's going to be related to the Sharn expansion. Neat. I don't think I've ever looked at those wilderness area tabs. Yep. D&T should be changed to the cogs. That's right, we have actually announced the cogs thing, although we haven't really gotten too specific There was actually, if you read the most recent issue of Dragon Plus magazine by Wizards of the Coast, there's an interview in there with Sev and Tolero, and not a lot of new info in there. It was geared toward a different audience, you know, which is the D&D playing audience wide. Actually, that is really funny. You see that? With the, someone got a loot boost there, so the light is shining into the door. Oh, that is pretty funny. That's cool. Nice.
And unlocks the deposit box.
At last I have it. The weapon that I
Interesting.
traveled back in time for. The sliver of time. Now to keep in mind, I shall return Nelgan to you as a dying old woman.
So yeah, they're in, you know, Dragon Plus. And they did talk a little bit about Sharn. Sev did mention that we're kind of doing something a little bit different with the cogs.
And become the new leader of the Devil Army.
We'll have more information on that as we kind of head into the new year and all that sort of thing. So that should be pretty cool. Just yesterday, there was a name storming session for what we're actually going to call the new adventure pack. And we've come up with a list of possibilities. Should be pretty cool. Typical with any naming session, it's a lot easier to come up with joke names than it is to come up with good real names. But we came out with some list of pretty good real possible names. So I assume we'll have more info on that probably, what, around the anniversary time frame or whatever. Yeah, so the DCs of the Nightmare Effect are not set high enough to proc on higher quality or higher challenge area. That makes sense. Yep. DDO needs a presence at Gen Con. Just saying, hey, we were there last year. Not in the show floor itself, but we had a party. I would not be surprised if we didn't do anything about that again. Has there been any office talk about SSG producing a new game at some point? Sure has. No idea when that's ever going to happen. But has there been office talk? Of course. Oh, the interesting thing about the Dragon Plus article was mentioned as where and when for quests. Okay. Okay, so Secular Scroll, I appreciate what you're saying, but I would not expect Nightmare to ever proc really in Reaper difficulty, particularly Legendary Reaper. It's just, that benefit is not meant for that content. Yeah, my joke name, okay, my bad joke name for the expansion is the 2006 Promise. We finally did it! Yeah. What other conventions will SSG might be at, i.e. not necessarily a booth, but a party? PAX East and Gen Con. Those are probably the big two. There's always kind of thought about, we'd love to do a whole bunch more, but frankly those things are not inexpensive. And we have opted to invest the revenue that comes in into things other than, say, booths at conventions. Like hiring devs. But we will be, again, not on the show floor for either of these conventions, but we will be at PAX East this year. I don't know that we're going to be able to get the budget for like a formal party. I kind of had hoped we might, but I don't think that's going to happen now. So it may be more of an informal party, but we will be having a DDO and Lord of the Rings Online get-together at PAX East this year. As a matter of fact, I'm embarrassed to say this, but nonetheless, I better get used to it because I promised. Due to the extremely generous Extra Life donations, the Lord of the Rings group said, hey, if we hit 20,000, will you wear a kilt to PAX East? And I was like, we're not going to hit 20,000. Sure. We hit 20,000, so yes, the Friday night of PAX East, I will be wearing a kilt. I've never worn a kilt. I probably never will wear a kilt again, but I will be wearing one that Friday. And so, yeah, if you're going to either PAX East or Gen Con, and you want some DDO swag, I always pack stuff with me personally. So if you go to any of the player meetups, or even if you can't make that and you just want to kind of ping me on the forum, say, hey, I'd really like a shirt. You know, we'll make sure we get you stuff if you're attending these conventions. What am I doing specifically for Christmas? I, this week, am picking up my son, who is 7 years old. Lovely age for the holidays. And I will be hanging out with him, doing the Christmas thing, probably playing with toys. I don't want to give away his Christmas present on stream, just in case. But, yeah, I got him some cool stuff this year. Let me tell you, it's a lot of fun to buy, if you're a dad trying to buy toys for your 7-year-old son. They let you finally buy all those things that you wanted when you were a kid. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. I'll just kind of be hanging out, doing RC cars. You know, we both are into that, and just having fun. So, and then I will be, you know, a little bit of work, checking the forums every day, and doing some social media stuff. And Tyco Racetrack? No, I actually don't have that. We have. I got it last Christmas for him. It was called Hot Wheels AI. And I don't want to promote them because, frankly, I think the product isn't for sale anymore. You know, Hot Wheels tends to kind of bring in ideas and then move them out. Keep their brand refreshed all the time. But it's this really cool RC tech that uses a gradient pattern. So what it does is it has like a sensor on the bottom of the car, and then the track itself is a gradient gray. And that sensor can actually tell the gradient, so that when you are driving on the track, it'll keep the car centered on the track because it follows the gradient. And so it knows when it's getting to the edge, or it knows when it goes off track. And like when it goes off track, it'll make like the screeching sound like you spun out, and things like that. It has AI though, because you can actually race against AI cars. You get like, I've got like 4 of them, right? So you put them all down on the track, and then you can race against the car's AI. It has variable speed and difficulty and things like that. But it allows you to turn along the width of the track, which is about yay long, so you can kind of do stuff that you couldn't do on a typical slot car machine. It's real cool. Real cool. So yeah, we'll probably be bringing that out again this holiday. Do you ever think we could get quests involving acquisitions incorporated? That's something that comes up periodically. I don't know. We haven't been able to make it happen. Who knows what the future will bring. Nothing wrong with wearing a kilt. Wore one with a tux jacket to a wedding of a friend of mine. Yeah. I hear you. No, there's nothing wrong with wearing a kilt. I am not personally much of a kilt wearer, so, you know. But, no. Kilts are cool. I just don't know that they're cool on me. I guess we'll find out. Yep. The Eldritch Knight update was a moderate boost. Albert from Facebook, thank you so much. A moderate boost to DPS, but the team missed an opportunity to enchant their attacks with spells, i.e., when you would use a spell that is not touch, it becomes a one-weapon attack. That's an interesting idea. I think they opted instead to often have the strength and power of the weapon be based on spell power. So as your spell power goes up, the amount of damage you're doing with your weapons goes up. And that's kind of how they went for this one. How's the envenomed cloak look? That's not bad. It's clipping through on my character a little bit, but the envenomed cloak is looking pretty good. Alright, might as well pop into Tempest here. Do we think we will ever make a higher level cleric hireling with divine vitality to help my wizard? I think a level 17 cleric is the highest level hireling with divine vitality. That's an interesting will we ever question. We definitely don't have plans to make new hirelings in the short term, but having a higher level healing hireling would make some sense. I believe Garrett is historically the one that's highest, and that's level 25. Can we fix the shadow bug when you transform into the druid wolf form? I assume it's just not properly displaying the shadow of the wolf. That does sound like something we should correct. We need pics of Cordovan in a kilt. Well, I'm sorry to say that that's likely, because if I wear a kilt to a public party at PAX East, good or bad, and probably the worse, the more likely there will be pics of it. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Will cleric hirelings ever be able to turn undead? They should. Probably not. Hirelings, I think the list of things we need to work on with hirelings, turn undead is not real high on that list. There is a level 27 cleric hireling, that's true. I guess I've always just kind of... Actually, cleric hireling? I thought it was favored soul, but maybe I'm wrong. Will there be any craftable cosmetics in our future? Not through Caneth crafting. It would be awesome to get Chris Perkins as a DM in a quest or two. Yeah, that one, that's a name that comes up fairly often as well. Legos are an absolute must. Oh yeah, for sure. I'll be playing Legos with my son. Yeah. His mother actually got him a bunch of cool Lego kits this year. I don't have any Legos for him this time around, but I've got, like I said, I got some really cool stuff that I don't really want to mention on stream here. But no Legos this year for him, but he's got so many Legos. D&D Legos? Oh, that's such a good idea. Come on. Is Hasbro involved in Lego? Lego's their own thing, right? So I don't think that's too likely. It's a great idea, though. Would love D&D Legos. I want a Lego Mimic. That's what I want. Yeah. And yes, Druid's Fire in chat is the one actually making the kilt for PAX East. So. Daybreak just brought out the lifetime subscription for a limited time. Kelly from Facebook says, this is true. Why has Lotro not jumped on this yet? So, Daybreak yesterday announced, I think what they're calling an all-access lifetime pass. And that's for the games with Daybreak that are part of their all-access, which is what, like DCUO, EQ, and PlanetSide and all the rest. Lotro and DDO are not a part of the Daybreak all-access. occasionally we've had people suggest that we should do it, but we have not joined. I don't really think we have plans to in the short term here. In that email, or promotional thing that Daybreak has sent out, there is, you know, information, like promotional stuff for Standing Stone Games' games, but those aren't lifetime passes. In terms of why not, I mean, that's kind of what the DDO Season Pass was about. But we have really no plans to bring back kind of a lifetime in the future. Mesmerita. I love that. Mesmerita has got the history of Lego. Leg is Danish. The name is a mashup of leg got, which means play well. How cool! I love it. Go, Jerry, admit it, you bought him candy, didn't you? Oh, he's definitely got some candy headed his way. Gotta fill up those stockings somehow. As a matter of fact, one of the things we're doing is when I pick him up on Thursday here, we're actually going to be touring. It's part of our road trip here. We're going to be touring the Hershey plant, or the Chocolate World, or whatever that thing is called, in Pennsylvania. Should be fun. Are custom summons a possible reward option for donations? Like, what if I want a flat-chested warlock succubus dressed like a tomboy and Vistani knife fighting while an enlightened spirit build? Could I get her as a summon? Nicole the succubus? No. Sorry. That kind of thing would be a lot of effort to do. Creating summons like that is a not insignificant process, and one we just aren't likely to do in that way. I don't know, Craig. I've never been there. I don't know if we get free chocolate. I assume the tour is free, so I assume part of it is they're going to probably try to get the kids all excited to buy things, and then say, "Hey, Mom and Dad, or whatever, you can buy your kids stuff so that they stop asking for it." No, sorry, Shoemaker, I'm not talking about that. One of the greatest raids, running this on G-Land Saturday night on Legendary. Yep. I'm actually on G-Land here, but only level 16. Will rogues ever be available for plat rather than shards? I don't think so. Part of that is a balance concern, and that balance concern would be that if we made rogues available for plat, then that would seriously decrease the role of player-run rogues in the game. So I'd say it would never happen, and I could certainly understand the cases why it would be nice to do sometimes, but I really don't see us going that route. Hey, Janet, over on Facebook. Yep, we actually have some of those fantasy Lego sets. Someone send me something in chat. Oh, wait a second. Someone in chat says, Epic Rogues are available for Plat? Okay. That's news to me. But then, like I say, I don't really play with Hireling Rogues very much. Any chance we can get scarves as cloak alternatives this winter? That's interesting. I would say the odds, well, not for this winter, but that does seem like something that might be possible given the cloak tech. Although I suspect having it wrapped nicely around, say, your head and neck without looking kind of floaty or whatever might be a little challenging. But assuming that's something that they could sort out, it seems possible.
Through the murky water, you see a dangerously long tunnel. Do not think to hold your breath that long.
Titan, is it possible to do a Christmas-themed event similar to the anniversary gift giveaways? Like, here's your ticket for your moderate light power item. You and your light power. Yeah, well, we could. You know, the reality is, just about every year we find ourselves super busy around the holidays. So adding that to our plate of work to do, I don't know, man. Oh, I forgot my chest.
Stone pillars poke through the surface of the water ahead. This may be a good spot to regain your strength and breath.
Yeah, I'll take care of the daily rolls here in just a second. Yeah, I really don't see us doing a holiday gift. You know, we also do have Festival, which would kind of compete with that a little bit. Oops. Oops. Where am I going? Oh, no. Don't tell me I've gotten lost in Tempest Spine. I'm the worst.
As light ebbs from the beholder, the magical barrier collapses, allowing access to the room and garden.
There we go.
Yeah, I was lost in the ice caves for all this time.
Yeah, nice. It's pretty tricky, right? Because you do get kind of turned around in there. All right. What else do we got? Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, Secular. I mean, that's certainly kind of future summons with different body types, and that does sound like a thing we would certainly be open to doing. I just don't know that having it as some kind of special summon would be the way to do it. Is there a plan to fix the game only running on a single core rather than using the resources of the PC it runs on more efficiently? Yeah, that would be a 64-bit client, which comes up fairly regularly, but we have not yet pursued. They are working on it, though, on the Lord of the Rings Online side. So if they're successful there, and the word is that in 2019 here we're going to be doing at least a public test of the 64-bit client on the Lord of the Rings Online side. So assuming that actually works and doesn't, you know, blow everything up, then odds are very good that we will consider bringing it to DDO.
Wind howls through the cavern opening. Thin, icy air makes breathing difficult.
So, Secular, I am sure that Nightmare ultimately doesn't proc very well on particularly high-level content. But I don't know that not all proc effects are intended to work at all game levels. And so I would assume that Nightmare just might not be suitable for Legendary, particularly Reaper. I just don't think it's meant for that. So yeah, Midnight 22K, that kind of single core thing. I mean, you figure DDO is based on, you know, at its core, at its root, you know, it's based on like 2004 to 2006 era tech. So some of the 64-bit stuff on that was just not there. But, maybe. A PvP snowball fight would be fun. Yeah, it really would. I don't know that we are going to be doing that anytime soon, but that is certainly a cool idea. Oh, you're right, Sonic. Sonic is what it is. Yeah. Would a 64-bit client reduce, quote, lag? It would have an impact, certainly on... high memory spots. An ugly sweater cosmetic. Oh, that's so good. I love it. Yeah.
A drawbridge extends over a pool of water. Traps surround the switches apparently used to lower the bridge. Bridge to the inevitable. The bridge lurches
All right.
to life. Lowering, a gravelly voice calls out.
God, the ugly sweater. I love it. Totally need to do that. Although I don't know if we can get away with it for lore, but God, having an ugly sweater is so good. Yeah. I would mention one piece, which is that this week, or last weekend rather, I guess it was Sunday, so yeah, technically still this week, I sat down with Flimsy Firewood and his wife to record Sunday night's D&D night holiday special. You know, being Sunday is the 23rd, everyone's just busy and doing stuff, so I pre-taped our special, and I do mean special, D&D night holiday special that'll air from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/DDO stream. So if you want to see Flimsy Firewood, who is pretty devious, both in questing and that, run a very weird, because I made it, holiday special D&D style 5th edition tabletop. You don't want to miss this. Without going into too many details, because I don't want to spoil the surprise, let me just give you the title of our D&D night holiday special, and that is Santa and Mrs. Claus versus Nakatomi Plaza. And so that'll be 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern right here on Sunday. And I hope you check it out because it's good. It turned out so good. I knew having Flimsy Firewood playing Santa would just automatically make it awesome. And I was not wrong. And yeah, it'll be up as an encore and stuff too for those who don't have time or are busy themselves or what have you. All that stuff is on Twitch and YouTube after the fact. Socks for Dragonborn feet. I would think they'd poke holes through it pretty regular. A cosmetic soulstone pet. That's a good one, too. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you too, Kimberly. And for those who don't celebrate Christmas but celebrate other holidays, Happy Hanukkah and Yule and Kwanzaa and what have you. Will we fix the bug of an artificer pet who freezes after climbing a ladder? That is part of a wider issue with the Artificer Iron Defender kind of braining out. But yes, that would be nice. A cosmetic, which is your male and female bits blurred like you saw people on Cops. That is pretty funny. Will Bruce Willis be making a cameo? Stay tuned. No, but stay tuned as to why. I like the idea of a cosmetic soulstone pet, too. Yeah. Why can you not cast Trap the Soul on a friend in PvP, grab their soul gem, and craft a weapon for them using their soul gem? Oh, that's a great idea. But Trap the Soul not working in PvP, I think is a deliberate change. Or a deliberate kind of restriction. When are we gonna meet the Tarrasque? I don't know. The other game kind of has that one tied up, so I'm not sure that that's something we'll be doing anytime soon. Where's your pig pet from the exploding pork barrels? Word. Oh, hey, great point. So the exploding pork barrels, that reminds me, yesterday, I've been basically staying late every night for the last couple of weeks. Working till 9, 10-ish, to do all the private messaging and all the code distribution and all that stuff for Movember and Extra Life. And as of last night, I officially got at least one private message out to every single person who donated. In addition, I was able to get all the group incentive bonuses awarded. So if you donated to me for Extra Life in Movember, check your PM inbox. If for some reason I missed you, and that does occasionally happen once or twice, usually per year, where you know, either someone forgot to PM me or they PM'd me and somehow it just got lost or I didn't catch it or whatever. Make sure that you get in touch with me and I will sort you out. However, in terms of sort of getting you all of your incentives, if I don't have them to you by the end of the day today, odds are it's going to have to be early January. Although I am going to perhaps be able to do a little bit of work from home. So we'll kind of have to see how that goes. We need a giant mimic pretending to be an inn and a murder mystery that takes place inside of said mimic. Are we ever going to get that? I like it. We already have the ability to do a house and walk inside of a house because of Baba Yaga. So it's just a matter of time. As a matter of fact, wait a second. Oh no, that's a beholder. I too, Samus, thought Deadly was available on rings, at least at one point in the past. I'm not sure. right, let me grab a screenshot. I will get you folks a DDO points code in the endgame mail later on today if you're in my group here. Who could we go to request specific cosmetics we would like to see? Tiffany on Facebook. The best way to do that would be to make a post for it on the forums. I know our artists do indeed read them and have, you know, taken those suggestions to heart in the past. Alright, I'm going to go right here. I will log into my admin character, and similar to last week, let me drop a few Christmas goodies for everybody. So I'll be back in a couple minutes. Oh, my daily rolls. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I just logged out. I keep forgetting that. By the way, for those who wonder, I don't get the DDO season pass. A lot of times as employees we get just about everything. I do think they're going to kick us the armor just to be nice, but I don't get daily gold rolls. I want daily gold rolls too. I know that, you know, certainly, hey, it's perfectly valid to talk about whether the price is valuable to you and what have you, but for me, the idea of daily gold rolls, I'm like, oh, heck yeah. Just calling up some stuff here.
Tis the season of festival in Stormreach.
I wish I could log in as the Festival Jester, but unfortunately, I cannot. By the way, there's a thread on the forums which a player unfortunately found a bug with the Eternal Titan wand where it won't glamour. The only positive to that is it's a wand rather than a weapon, but it doesn't glamour as a wand, so if you have a wand in your hand, it doesn't change the shape. As a matter of fact, it's invisible. But depending on the wand you're using, kind of looks like it's being thrown from your fist, which is sort of rad. So hopefully we can get that fixed at some point in the future, although a lot of these old community items are really old items that were kind of special one-offs and not really intended to be around forever until I got my grubby mitts on them and decided to give them out forever. But because they are typically sort of weird one-offs, sometimes they don't work well with systems. And for those who are just joining us who haven't seen me do this before, all of these items are typically, I mean, you could say they're all useless. They have value, but they have no beneficial value. They're all items that are approved for me to give out during community events and things like this. So nobody's getting kind of an unfair power advantage or anything like that from any of this stuff. It's all generally kind of fun and goofy little cosmetics. All right, that is what I've got. Let me take one last swing through the questions. Actually, I've got just enough time to do my gold rolls, my gold roll on the regular server. So let's call that done. All you want for Christmas is Blade Forged on sale. Nice. Bet you could have bought it. I mean, if I wanted to drop $300 just like anyone else, I could indeed have. Although, I'd be a little concerned it might mess up some of my employee tagging. I cannot drop things like mithril medium armors with augment slots that are Kenneth craftable. Now, this is all basically a list of pre-approved items that are typically all cosmetic or have very low power things that have been given out for community events and stuff over the years that I am approved to give out for this kind of stuff. Store codes for the community loot items. How did that work out? That didn't. This is, with the exception of the pork barrels, which I was able to make codes against, all the other stuff is stuff I have to manually mail out to people. I too would love Stormcleave to be a raid. All right, so there you go. Thank you so much for watching the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I will not be here next week. I will see you in 2 weeks when the year will be 2019. And we'll all be a year older, because that's how it works. There are, however, streams happening throughout the holidays here, so if you are interested in watching some DDO stuff, hanging out, maybe while you're playing the game. If you're playing the game this holiday, which I bet a lot of you will be seeing 10% heroic and epic XP along with some cool stuff. So, hope you have a fun holidays. Hope you have a safe travels if you are traveling. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next year. Bye-bye.